It's the morning cryptos, and today we are going to explore the idea of FUD. Elmer Fudd. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. All right, so it just seems to me like there is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I'm seeing this word, this initials, this abbreviation, FUD. FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Wikipedia says, often shortened to FUD, is a disinformation strategy used in sales, marketing, public relations, talk radio, politics, religious organizations, and propaganda. In other words, it's hypnosis. Let's look at the daily cryptos. All right, so fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It could also be fear, uncertainty, doubt, and disinformation, right? And what have we seen coming out of China is this kind of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that, we're cracking down on ICOs. In the meanwhile, the rising tide of Bitcoin and the other cryptos has been kind of rudely halted for many of us, many of us who want it to go up, right? And so I just think it's something to be aware of, that we are manipulatable. We absorb the ideas and notions around us, and that's why there's a process of the world adopting this new thing called cryptocurrencies, because there are so many different mindsets that have to be dealt with. People who think it's a dumb idea, people who think it's a great idea but don't know what to do about it, governments, people who might be threatened by it. It's like the solar industry has to deal with the fact that some of the most powerful corporations in the world are oil companies, right? Damn, that's good coffee. I make really good coffee. So whenever there's something new, there's a whole barrage of ideas that have to be sorted out, and that's again why this is called the Hypnosis of Money. I'm a student of the human mind, and I'm a student of human power and potential, and how we can change our thinking to actually dominate our path with heart, right? And whatever that may be. For some reason, my path has turned towards learning about these cryptos. I think everyone needs to learn about them. I think this is like, as someone who lives in a global village, this is going to be our money. And I think we need to teach our kids about it. I think we need to teach each other about it. I think we need to learn how we are wired so that we can interact with money and the world and what we want to do while we're here in this very short lifespan, to be who we want to be, and to just stay focused on making money, I don't think is the point. I think the point is to make money in a way that suits you, that actually seems to you and I to be pleasurable. Maybe not easy, but pleasurable, right? And when the markets go in our favor, it's pleasurable, but when they don't go in our favor, it's not, right? So we have to learn how to deal with what happens when things don't go our own way, right? And many of us are still children in some ways, in that we throw little snit fits when the world doesn't give us exactly what we want when we think we should have it, right? And the idea is to stay open to the surprises, to the opportunities. So the average person rushes in when there's 1, 2, 3, 4 days of straight up, right? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 days of straight up, right? Oh my God, it's going up in price. Got to get in, right? Meanwhile, the person who does this regularly knows that after each parabolic move up, there are always corrections, and sometimes the corrections are as steep down as they were up. And here in Bitcoin, it's actually not that bad. I mean, look at it. It's, the bottoms are all up. They're not up as steeply as they were, but they're up, right? Of course, the tops are all down. That thing gets in my way. I don't know how to move it. But anyway, the tops, I'll redo this. Get out of my way. Right. So that's a wedge, and unfortunately, it looks somewhat steeply angled down. Right. So you can look at it anyway. Is the market holding fast? I mean, there's support here. We got support at 41.75. That's outrageous. Back in March, Bitcoin was like $900, $1,000 a piece. Now it's significantly more than the price of gold, right? And what is it? It's an idea, people. It's an idea that has a mechanism behind it that works, a process that is very much like mining for gold, right? And there's a limited supply, and it's convenient, and it's safe, and it's secure. It has some problems in that the transaction times are slow. The blocks are being filled up, and those solutions have been put in place. It took a lot longer than anybody wanted, and we'll see if they work. There's a lot of uncertainties, but the main thing is Bitcoin works on many, many levels. Is it used as a daily currency yet? No. Could it be used as a daily currency? Yeah, it actually could. Just not yet, right? And some of the other currencies could be used as well. We will see. It should be interesting. I was starting to watch a documentary last night, but it got too late to finish it. Basically about money and about how precarious our entire financial system is, how precarious the US dollar is actually. It's not as volatile as Bitcoin, but it could be, and there's a lot that could fall apart, particularly since we have barely fixed anything since the 2007-2008 crash. Fear and uncertainty, people, is a powerful, powerful, energetic force in the minds of human beings. Hope, positivity, confidence, courage, those are powerful too, but they tend to be less developed in the average human being. We are real good at fear, uncertainty, and doubt, mostly of ourselves, but also of our institutions, of the weather, of whatever, right? So that's a little bit of the hypnosis of money today. And the bottom line is, if you understand yourself, you're going to do better in the markets. And here's what I understand about myself. I want Litecoin to go up. I want to look like a genius, right? And the bottom line is that the markets don't do what you or I want them to do. They do what they do, right? And to me, that's one of the greatest lessons we can use as human beings, is to deal with what is. That's actually pretty progressive, spiritual, alternative thinking. But it actually works. If you try it, it works. So anyway, that's my opening preamble. It is the morning cryptos. Let me see if I can actually look at some cryptos here. This is the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin, and look at that. We got bottoms that are holding somewhat steady, and we have a top. We have kind of a triple, quadruple top here. So my prediction is Bitcoin will go up eventually. I just want to look at the 30 minutes, see if I can get a little bit, let's get a little smaller chart here. I think it's looking pretty strong. I mean, look at we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tops. It wants to rise. Something's holding it down, right? Something is holding it down. fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There's something buoying it up. I think what's buoying it up is the strong fundamentals of Bitcoin being a great idea. I feel hopeful, people. I feel hopeful. And we'll see. All right, so let me go to Dash. Let's get to the one-day chart. Start with the one-day chart. Again, in Dash, it rose like a crazy human being rising up, climbing a mountain, scaling a sheer wall of rock. And then it got knocked down by fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And if I just actually follow the bottoms of these whiskers, we have higher bottoms. And if I follow kind of the tops of these whiskers, we have a wedge. I don't know if it's going up or down, people, but I think there's support. I think this is just the markets going, okay, there's news. All right, there's news. Let's take a little breath here, and then we'll move on. We'll see. Let's go to the 1 hour here. Dash. I mean, there's been some significant retracements, and yet it catches itself at a certain point. Let's see if I can make this a little smaller. Is it the beginning of a bearish time? I don't know, to be honest with you. However, the bottoms are higher. The tops are lower. It's this wedge formation that we've been seeing. And I think that's the uncertainty, because like 50% of the people think it's going down, 50% of the people's going up. If there's an equal balance between doubt and hope, right, the market will stay somewhat level, right? If the buyers outnumber the sellers, the price goes up. If the sellers outnumber the buyers, the price goes down. That's it. It's supply and demand. If there are fewer people who want it because they think it's not as valuable, it goes down. I don't think the fundamental ideas of cryptocurrencies have changed over a weekend or two. That's not what's changed. What has changed is the fear of economic uncertainty. And as we go into the fall, I mean, October is pretty much slated by a lot of the experts as stock market crash time. So this could get interesting. I still think if the stock market crashes, if the US dollar takes a serious hit, cryptos will benefit from that. However, they may also respond to general fear and uncertainty, and all that doubt, disbelief, dismay, discouragement. So, yeah, I don't know if I shed any light on that, but I have Dash and I'm not selling any. That's the deal. I'm hanging in. And we'll only know later if I'm a fool. I'm a fool for love. All right, so Ethereum. I just look at those double tops and I look at 400 and I go, you know what? I will see Ethereum at 1,000. I know I will. And we will look back and we'll go, hey, remember that double top that just kind of stumped us? We didn't know what was going on. Yeah, consolidation. Look at the support here at 273. Look at the resistance at 396, right? 400 if you want to be round numbers, right? There's support down here, 265-ish, between 265 and 280. And I would be willing to bet that a bunch of seasoned traders have buy signals right around here. So the other seasoned traders will sell, drive the market down, and rebuy, right? Who knows? I have no idea. But I still think Ethereum's strong. I think the idea is strong. And what's the long-term trend? If we just draw a line for the long-term trend, It's could be up, right? I'm not seeing bear market yet, people. I really don't. The ideas are too sound, too timely, too fundamentally important to the long-term success of our species. It's like at some point we've got to get money out of control, out of the government's control. Not because the government's bad, but because they're manipulating and controlling it. And it's like, it's not their job anymore, right? We need a currency that we can use all over the world, that everybody in the world can use, that is instant, that I can just send from me to you, just like I can send an email. That is the concept. Get back to the concept of what cryptocurrency is at its basic, root, fundamental essence. I can send you Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, Litecoin. If I have your wallet address, I can send it to you. I don't have to go through an exchange. I don't have to go through a trusted third party. I don't have to get my securities license. I don't have to pay a broker. I can just send it to you. Now, I can send you money with PayPal as well. And it might be faster with PayPal. However, at a certain point, I want to cut PayPal out. I mean, they're good. I appreciate them. The idea is working. But this is a better idea, right? It's a better idea that cuts out a whole ton of stuff. It's very disruptive. There will be people who want this to not happen. Just like the oil companies do not want solar and wind power to be successful. They will send in, like in Vermont, I was reading in the Energy Times newspaper, that essentially the energy industry has basically set up some fear, uncertainty, and disinformation and doubt groups to counter wind turbine installation, wind farms and solar farms, right? It's kind of hard to find a reason to turn down free energy, right? Well, the utilities don't like it. They want to sell you energy. Their whole business model is based on you not being able to have energy, right? Our whole financial system is based on the principle of you not actually having any control over your finances or your money. So that's hypnosis, people. That's radical. And that's why I'm here every morning looking at this, because this is, as I've said before, a window into human history being made right now. And here it is. All right. Man, I can flap my lips in the morning. All right. So I have no idea what Ethereum's doing. However, if you look at the last chunk of 30-minute time frames, how many hours is that? We have a sideways trading range. It looks like it's broken out of it a little bit, but it also has a lot of resistance up here. We have this huge fall. Huge, But look, I'm looking and seeing consolidation here, right? There's support. It didn't just free fall to zero, right? It took a step back. It took like 10 steps forward and a step back, right? And the fact that the ICOs are built on Ethereum, you would think this would be the one currency that would take the biggest hit. But it's not. It's kind of in the same ballpark as the others. Let's go back to the 1 day here. Of course, my little lines are a little confusing. But that's a huge pattern. That's a big, we had a huge move up, a huge give back, and a huge move up, and a slightly smaller give back. How is that not positive, right? That is, and it's our interpretation of the way things are. Change your interpretation and your life changes. Change the way you think and your life changes. And if you don't believe me, just try doing it. It may take practice. It's going to take a while, particularly if you've been stuck in a certain way of thinking for a long time. But the very fact that you're looking at this means you are pretty progressive. You have an open mind. You're open to new ideas. You're willing to try out new things. You have hopes and dreams for your future. And it seems to me like you're here in this crypto space because you see the possibilities, right? Hold on to that. Those are good thoughts. Those are powerful thoughts and positive thoughts. And those are the thoughts you need to run constantly, but without projecting what you want to have happen. And when we get to Litecoin, I'll talk a little bit more about projection. So that was Ethereum. Let's go to Litecoin. All right, so let's talk about projection, right? I really saw this very sweet setup right here, this sideways pattern. And I saw this one too back in June, but I wasn't in a position to capitalize on it. Right, we had really sweet sideways patterns, tight trading ranges. Right, with a little bit of exception here, we have this one that popped up, but that's always good. But you see, it popped up, and it literally gave back about half, and it popped up, and literally gave back more than half, and then it consolidated, and then it popped up again. And I remember this day, I literally came into the office. I was about to get in the shower, and I didn't have a stitch of clothing on, and I came and looked, and I'm like, whoa. What's going on? And I did a special report because I thought Litecoin was going to break out and just go to the moon. And it went up, hit resistance, and back down. Then it went to the moon, right? So this setup, look at how long it took. It was like from July, from June 16th to August 21st, essentially. An entire month. More than a month. When it was just working its way sideways. And if you bought here, you had to be patient because it went up and it looked like you were a genius, but then it gave it back. And so you had to hang on. And there's then it went up again and you thought you were a genius, but it came back. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then it went up again, and then, this could be it. And then it came back, and then it went up. So all the disappointment, if you were thinking this big move was going to happen over here, it didn't, right? However, it did happen, right? The fundamentals of Litecoin are really strong. It's the kind of the little brother of Bitcoin, but it's solid. It activated SegWit before, right? There's an actual guy who created it, and we know who he is, and he actually is a pretty humble, cool human being who's pretty intelligent. Now, what I want is for it to go up to 91, and I'm going to sell some of mine, and I'm going to take the profits, and I'm then going to figure out what to do then. But I have to wait. It's not going there yet. And I'm not selling all my Litecoin at 91 because I think it's going to eventually go up to the $500 range. It's going to as more and more people use it, right? It's the same idea as Bitcoin. The more people come in, the less there is to go around. There are only, 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be in existence. That's brilliant, right? That's the exact opposite of what fiat money is, where they just keep printing more and more and more, right? And it becomes worth less and less and less. Here, this currency becomes worth more and more and more. That's radical and revolutionary. Buy and hold, right? The simplest thing is to just get you some. Just get you some and hold it and see what happens. But how many of us can have the patience to just hold it, right? We want to make a lot of money. We want to make it fast. And we don't want to learn too much because that takes time, right? So we have to question our own mental processes, our own mindsets. And here we have a wedge. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's pretty steep to the downside here. You know, what's it going to do in this wedgy spot, you know? And depending on whether you use the whiskers or not, it has different amounts of steepness depending on what your mindset is, what your frame is, right? That's the other thing we do as human beings, that we frame things with our mind. That's why drawing a line seems to help, you know? Where is it wanting to go? And right now, it wants to go back up. And I think we're going to see returning to this middle range. Excuse me. So that's Litecoin on the 1 day. Let's just look at the 1 hours real quick. You know, and the fact that it's bouncing back, the fact that it's coming back after taking these hits. You know, we had some sideways range and then it dropped again. But it's coming back, right? It wants to rise. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt can be used to manipulate us, right? And if you drive fear into the market, the price goes down, then you can buy it back lower. And please understand, people in China will use whatever they want to use. They have no scruples about making up news stories and printing them, and these markets are affected. But it's good. It's good because it gives the markets a time to consolidate. It gives them a time to pull back and really establish what their value is, and that news items may kind of push it down a little, but they're not going to pop the balloon, right? Because it might not be a balloon. It might actually be a mountain. So anyway, that's Litecoin. And just a quick look at Monero on the 1 day chart. Boom. And again, we have support here. And the bottoms are rising. It looks like we might start getting into a sideways trading range. And again, Monero, pretty strong. Currency is strong. It has a lot of uses if you don't want people in your business. And the big revolution is that people are going to start opting out of Facebook. They're going to start opting out of a lot of these quote-unquote friendly fascist items that basically your information is being sold. And mine too. And the average person, there's going to be a day when everyone's like, yeah, I use a VPN because I'm tired of being monitored all the time by the marketing industry, right? So looking at Monero on the 1 hour chart, I think it's looking really good for a breakout to the upside. I mean, just look at this. We have a triple top right here, and it's fairly fairly level, and then we have higher. Whoops. We have higher bottoms. Interesting. I think Monero is going to recover. Because again, if you look at the technicals plus the fundamentals, the market took a hit and now it's recovering. That's what the EKG says. the larger information is this organism is pretty healthy. It's actually healthy, and it's growing more robust over time. And it's an idea whose time has come. It works. There are early adapters all over the world getting into it, exploring it. You and I are obsessed with it, right? It's actually an addiction. I think it's a healthy addiction, hopefully. Although it was really nice to take a day off on Sunday and not look at a computer screen. That was really helpful. So, in conclusion, I think we're going to be okay. Let's just look at Bitcoin Cash. See what Bitcoin Cash is doing. Now, I think it's a good time to pick up some Bitcoin Cash because we have a sideways trading range. And what's going on here? There we go. We have a sideways trading range. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to get rid of the volume there for a second. So if you look at if you draw the line that way, it's a trend up. If you include this anomaly, it's a sideways range, it's a wedge, right? So depending on how you look at it, I mean, this to me was kind of a failed breakout attempt. So if you discount that and just look at it this way, we have a little failed breakout attempt, then we have a little smaller one. Where is the actual resistance? But look at the bottoms. They're higher. And it's tight. It's a tight range. Maybe get that. All right, and this again is the 60-minute chart, the 1-hour chart. And we'll see. We'll see. I think it's a good idea to have some Bitcoin Cash. It's a good idea to have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Litecoin, some Dash, some Monero. I have a few other smaller coins. I just got a tiny little bit of Augur. And sorry about the chart change. But Augur never reacted the way all the others did. I thought that was interesting. We do have a little wedge here. But if you look at the main energy of Augur, it's up, and it's I think priced at you can buy a lot of Augur for not that much money. $100. Just put $100 in Augur, and that's kind of what I did, just to see what happens. So you want to have, if you're thinking of having a portfolio of cryptos. I can't tell you how much of each to have. What I'm kind of hearing from a lot of the other traders that I'm studying on YouTube is that ultimately Bitcoin is like gold in so many ways. And even though it isn't perfect yet, it still is the best game in town if you want something that long range is going to go up. And you hear all the reports about, Bitcoin going to go to 5,000, going to go to 10,000, going to go to 50,000, going to go to 1 million. All of that could happen. But it might also be Bitcoin just staying the same while the US dollar crashes. That could happen as well. So there's a lot of different things to think about. So today, I just want to encourage you to catch yourself if you're thinking fear, uncertainty, or doubt thoughts, and to consciously turn them around, challenge them, not in a way that blinds you to reality, but in a way that grounds you in reality, that if you look at this chart, it's up, people. It's significantly, significantly up. Draw a line from here, if you can figure out how to do it. Draw a line from here to here. Does that line go up or down? That line goes up, right? And it goes up pretty damn steeply. So that's the big picture, people. keep that in mind. I was just trying to draw the damn line up, you know? I was just trying to draw the line up, and I can never draw the line, right? So watch your limiting thoughts, right? Whenever I have any kind of frustration or resistance, I get pissy, right? That's my childhood crap, right? I have a low tolerance for frustration, but it causes me to learn, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do these lines better or whatever, or I'll edit that out so you won't see how pissy I was. Except now that I've talked about it, I'm going to leave it in. But I want to leave you with this thought that Bitcoin is strong and it's going up. I mean, look at this chart, right? These corrections, when you look in the context, are not that big. They are normal and natural. You can go to a gold chart. Let's go to a gold chart. Let's look at gold. You're not doubting that gold is going to be here. Let's do gold price USA. All right. Oh, look at gold. You're not doubting that gold is going to be in existence, are you? Right? Gold went down. Gold goes up. Gold goes up and down. Look at this. Gold. We think of gold as so steady. It's crazy. It's volatile. Here we are at 1128. Here we are at 1347. That's not even that big a price jump compared to what we're doing in cryptos. But look at this. It goes up and then it comes back. It goes up and then it comes back. And then it goes up and then it comes back. And then it goes up and then it comes back. And it goes up, 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 and it's going to come back, right? Because the other thing is if cryptos really crank and people go like, you know, gold is just inconvenient. Gold will lose value compared to Bitcoin. Because, yeah, the gold bugs are into it, but it's heavy. You got to store it, you know, eventually. And I think there are some crypto coins right now that are literally tied to gold and backed by gold. But I think that's almost an anachronistic concept, right? Gold will always have some kind of value, but it fluctuates. Value fluctuates. There's buyers and there's sellers. All right, so that's enough of my philosophical ramblings this morning. I hope you are making really good decisions, and I hope you are kind of exploring the idea that how you perceive anything is really how you are representing to yourself external events in the world and how you are interpreting them. And so I want you to interpret them as being favorable to you, no matter what happens. Even if it looks like you've lost money, interpret it as favorable. It was a lesson learned. It was tuition paid. Those kinds of thoughts will help you when there are setbacks. The pie in the sky victim thoughts are like, oh, they're just going to go up forever, and I'm going to be rich. I got my mansion picked out. And then the market goes against you, and it's all of a sudden, oh, I was wrong. I'm a fool. Right? That kind of up and down is not supportive of you and your ultimate goal, which is prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, joy, great relationships, a life that you look back on, you know, when you're 100 years old and go, wow, that was a hell of a life. Man, I had a great time. I'll come back again someday. That was cool. Right? That's for me what this is all about. It's not about how much money you make. It's not he who dies with the most toys wins. Wins what? We're all going to die. Right? Ultimately, we are all going to die. This too shall pass. There will be a day when there will be no human beings left on this earth, and hopefully that day is 1,000,000 years in the future. But you and I are not going to be here forever. And that's okay. Let's have a lot of fun while we're at it, and let's figure out how to take our energy, focus it, invest it, and grow it. So that's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing. And this is my 90-day challenge to learn about this and to explore my own fear, uncertainty, and doubts, as well as the things that work in running my own brain so that I get more of what I want and less of what I don't want. And if you like this stuff, I think you're awesome. I hope you will subscribe and give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And leave a comment below. Just hang in, people. It's going to be okay. All right? That's the big message of my rambling thoughts. It's going to be okay. Just hang in there. This is just a little correction. And it's an exciting time to be alive. We will see 5,000. It's just not going to happen today. Right? That's okay. It's all good. So, I think that's it. I'm starting a new music project. Every Sunday I'm doing sound healing hypnosis at a really cool wellness center called Lighthouse Healing Space. If you happen to be in Albany, New York on a Sunday, this is not church, it's not religious, it just happens to be on a Sunday morning because people are kind of used to like getting a recharge on a Sunday morning. And so we're doing my sound healing hypnosis, and then massage therapists are available for people to get couples massage or hot stone massage or traditional massage, whatever you want. If you're local, check that out. And I'm videotaping those and putting those up here right on my channel. And if you're not into music, that's cool. There's a lot of people who are into my music who are not into cryptos, and that's cool too. However, for me, it's all the same thing. It's mastering my mind for a change and keeping the change growing. So think about it. Explore who you really are today, and there's a lot that we can do to master our lives, our relationships, our money, our health that many people are not doing, right? But you can do it. You're an early adapter. You're a free thinker. You're an open-minded revolutionary. And this is the revolution, my friends. So let's wrap this up. Let's start the music. I will see you the next time. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Come on, music, music. Let's hear some music. Go.